Hello all. So today we are going to read the para-voice summary of the poem The Landscape Near an Aerodrome. So before jumping on to the poem, let's have a brief introduction about it. Stephen Spender's The Landscape Near an Aerodrome is a poem of 31 lines arranged into 6 stanzas of 5 lines each. The poem is a description of the flight of an airplane and its landing at an urban airport. Such a flight would still have been a somewhat unusual event in the 1930s, and the speaker meditates upon the meaning and significance of the airplane, the landscape over which it flies, and the airport at which it arrives. The title suggests that the focus of the poem is the landscape, but in the first stanza, the speaker describes the airplane itself. So let's begin with the para-wise summary of this poem. The para 1 begins from first line till the sixth line. It is like this: more beautiful and soft than any moth, with budding furred antennae feeling its huge path through dust, the airliner with shut-off engine glides over suburbs, and the sleeves set trailing tall to point the wind gently, broadly she falls, scarcely disturbing charted currents of air. In the first line, therefore, Spender announces his perspective here. Modern machinery surpasses the traditional beauty of nature. However, nature is not completely lacking in the description of this machine. It has furred antennae like the moth to guide it through the air, but it is directed towards its destination by human design rather than by instinct. Significantly, it is gliding with shut-off engine, so there is no discordant sound of mechanical engines. Its descent is gentle and it does not disturb the charted currents of air. Here with the aeroplanes taking flight imagery has been metaphorically been compared with the moth, that is nature. The airplane is said to be more beautiful with budding furred antennae, feelings running over its huge path through dusk. The airliner with shut-off engine glides over suburbs and the sleeves are trailing tall for balance while making flight, points to the wind very gently, broadly, and falls without disturbing the currents of air. Next, in the second para, from 7th to 12th line, he says, lulled by descent, the travellers across sea and across feminine land, indulging its easy limbs in miles of softness, now let their eye trailed while watching penetrate through dust the outskirts of this town, here where industry shows a fraying edge, here they may see what is being done. The second stanza shifts from an appreciative description of the airplane to the perspective of its passengers, who are lulled by its gentle descent. The landscape over which they travel is given human attributes, that is, personification is used here. It is described as feminine and indulging its easy limbs in miles of softness. This is a landscape both natural and suburban, and its softness is attributable to the board pattern of farms and meadows unbroken by the hard masculine buildings and monuments of the sea. As second stanza continues, the passenger's eye penetrates the beginning of a town where industry shows a fraying edge. The attitude towards the industrial landscape is neutral here. Here they may see what is being done. From the third stanza, that is from 13th to 21st line, there is a shift in tone. He says, beyond the winking masthead light and the landing ground, they observe the outpost of work, chimneys like lank black fingers or figures frightening and mad, and squat buildings with their strange air behind trees like women's faces shattered by grief. Here were few houses, mourn with faint light behind their blinds. They remark the unhomely sense of complaint like a dog shut out and shivering at the foreign moon. Now is the description of what passengers saw during their journey, a sad and miserable effect of modernization and industrialization. Beyond the winking masthead light and the landing ground, the passengers observe the outpost of work. The chimneys are like long black fingers or figures which are frightening and mad. The squat building is personified with a strange air behind trees, are shattered by grief like a woman's face. The air is pure here because obviously it is oxygen coming out from trees and not the usual polluted air from chimneys. They saw the few houses mourning with faint light of bulbs maybe because the sunlight is restricted behind their blinds, and the houses like humans, again personification. is here remarking the unhomely sense of complaint like a dog, and a shivering at the foreign moon, foreign light of bulbs maybe, and torches or planes, but not of the real moon. These negative images are quite different from the description of the airplane and the landscape. The urban landscape is broken and is mournful. This thought process continues from the fourth stanza, that is from 22nd to 26th line, in which he says, "In the last sweep of love, they passed over fields behind the aerodrome, where boys play all day, hacking dead grass, whose cry, like wild birds, settle upon the nearest roofs, but soon are hid under the loud city." In the last sweep, the airplane then flies over the field, and behind the aerodrome are the boys playing all day. And in contrast to the first stanza, Spender now sees positive values in things that are linked to nature. The fields over what the boys play are actually hacking the dead grass, who are crying due to all the fatal miseries like wild birds settling upon the nearest roofs. They are very near to us, crying, but still no one hears. And soon the birds or their cries of dead grass are hidden under the loudness of the city life. Their cry of pain remain unnoticed in the pretentious, corrupted city life of city dwellers. Here the symbol of nature is what it means, that due to industrialization, the grass is crying. But in the intoxication of progress, madly, no one hears it. The urban world is a nightmare of sound and broken visual images. In direct contrast with the airplane, they can fly high above it. Then, in the last stanza, he says, "Then, as they land, they hear the tolling bell, reaching across the landscape of hysteria, to where larger than all the charcoal batteries and image towers against that dying day, religion stands, the church blocking the sun." In the last stanza, the airplane finally lands. Its passengers are met by a tolling bell and are reaching across the landscape of madness, intensifying the nightmarish images of the previous description of the city. Industry and military are dwarfed by the mad bells of religion. The church is blocking the sun. The freedom of the airplane in the sky is now destroyed by the institution of industry and religion. The images again come, that of the charcoal batteries and image towers. The sky is dying. The words like dead grass, dying sky again emphasizes the dead environment, the miseries done by the industrialization, done by Second World War. And this is the essence of the poem. In the next video, I'll surely be explaining the critical analysis of this poem. So if you guys like this video and understood the poem very well, so do subscribe my channel for the latest upcoming videos and comment about it if you have any doubts regarding it. Like this video, and thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you all.